Well, good morning, boys and girls. I came over to the farm today to do a little practicing with my chunk gun, and I got about 3 shots in and it started raining. So rather than lay out in the rain or set everything up in the stone and shoot out from under the shed, I seen what I need to see out of the gun, so that's fine. Recently in a video, I had a person ask if I would do a video sometime showing the loading procedure, so that's what I'm going to do today. Well, I can't shoot outside. Now, I just got done shooting a shot with it, so we're going to pretend that was our first shot of the day. We're getting ready to load up to shoot on our spotting target. So we always take one shot to make the gun dirty. So now I'm going to clean the gun after that dirty shot. This is a dirty shot, which you're going to see when I pull the patch out. So, okay, got a wet patch. Going to turn that over. This is a little thinner material I found in my cleaning patches, so I doubled it up. Turn it over. Go at it again. Now, I'm going to go down with a couple dry patches. Same way on them, I'll just double these up and then turn it over because they're pretty thin. Let's see what we can do with it. So, when you're doing this, every once in a while, tighten up your rod, because what'll happen, your jag will start turning loose on the rod. Next thing you know, you could break it off. So now I'm going to turn this dry patch over, run it down one more time to get the last of the trash out of it. Now, tell you what we're doing here. We're using 501 thousandths ball. This is a 50 caliber. 501 thousandths using 20 thousandths Teflon and 120 grains of 1.5F. So I'm going to put my funnel in there. Always use a funnel. Load this thing up with 120 grains of powder. Why 120? Because it's Page's old gun. Page said use 120 and the gun won New York. I'm not going to argue with that. Now, on the Teflon, always put a drop of water on the back of it. Just a drop. Rub it into your finger. What it does, it relaxes the weave and it will wrap around your ball quite a bit better. It ain't going to hurt the Teflon side. It's more or less waterproof. See, I use a short starter. Now guys, on the short starter side of it, I had somebody question me why I was using an overbore sized ball and 20,000 patches. Well, I'm doing that to make the darn thing tight. We want it to be tight. And I was more or less, it was inferred that was why I was getting cut patches. I'm not getting cut patches with this gun, I can assure you of that. When you tap that in the bore with your short starter, what you're doing, you're sizing it to the bore. If you're a reloader and you've cast lead bullets, you run through a sizer before you load up your cartridges. Well, basically, I'm sizing the ball to the bore. You see how easily that went down? That's a 501 ball and a 50 caliber gun with a 20 thousandths patch. Get my rod there and I'll watch. Not hard at all. And this gun's more or less ready to shoot. You've seen I used a utility knife with replaceable blades. I've got my little bottle of Visine, empty Visine bottle with water in it. Short starter that I made myself out of some Delrin and some Osage. Long starter. You want a long starter, and the simple reason for that is if you just use a short starter and go to your rod, you're literally going to be setting that rod right there trying to push it down. You're going to whip it, you're going to break rods, you're going to do all kinds of stuff. Long starter. Hammer. Everybody kind of likes to have pretty hammers, so you can do that, or you can go to Home Depot and get you one of them, or Harbor Freight and get you one of them deadfall hammers. They work great too. They just don't look right. Okay, now I'm going to pause this. I'll shoot this and we'll come back to it. Okay, got that off. And then we'll come back over here and kind of get my earplugs out and we'll go at it again. Now, after that shot, let's say is your first scoring shot, you're going to go back, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to clean it. Couple of damp patches, you know, it depends on the thickness of your patching. You might be able to get by with one thick patch, run it down once, flip it over and do it again. I just don't have any of those with me today, so at least not wet. You'll notice I carry a bar soap container with wet patches in it. I can reach in there and get a wet patch anytime I want it. The ones in there are a little bit thin, so that's why I'm doubling them up. The patches I'm cleaning or drying, the dry patches I'm using are rather thick, so I can get away with one on those. I'll turn that over and run that down. You hear that thump sound, reach down there and make sure your hammer's at half cock, so you can get a little air in there. Okay, I'll reach in the bag here and find me a candidate. Yeah, there's a couple there, we'll use those. Now, I've said in videos in the past, when you're cleaning, use a jag with a flat end on it. That way you get all the way to the bottom. If you use one that's cut out for the ball, you're going to dig up some fouling on the way down and leave it down at the bottom, and next thing you know, your gun isn't going off proper and things like that. So I run this patch down, and I am ready to reload. Quickly, I'll go through that again. This particular gun, use a funnel, 120 grains of 1.5F in this particular gun. I drop that down there, and then I'm going to put a drop of water on my Teflon, rub it in with my finger. Then I'm going to set the ball on the muzzle, take my finger and push a little depression in it right there to set your ball. Set your ball on top like that. Now what I've done on this short starter, it's got a little thing I turned in there that will fit the sprue, so I don't have to bang it all up. I set that on there, make sure the sprue is lined top, and tap it in with a hammer. Then down with my long starter, then my ramrod with a concave end, and we're ready to go. Now, that takes care of the upside loading. I'll stop this and then I'm going to come back to it and I'm going to talk about something else. Alright guys, that kind of gets you through the up close loading so you kind of see some of the equipment and things like that I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead, I'll clean this gun when I get home, but I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of spit shine on it while we're talking here. This part of it's going to be about senior citizens, old age, and heavy guns. You've probably seen a video I done recently. It was after the hog shoot, and I was cleaning this gun and making the comment that I was going to have to really start thinking about what I'm doing here. The gun being heavy, it's 32 pounds. And I more or less figured out I was just going to quit shooting this gun. And I got a 20-pounder in the waiting room, so to speak. Well, I got to thinking about that, and to be honest with you, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out on my part. Yeah, I'm 73 years old. The gun's heavy and all that crap. But if I can't pick this gun up and shoot it, that's on me. That's not on the gun. That's not on anything. That's on me. You let yourself probably go a little bit as you age. I know I have. You know, I'm in the auto trim business, and it hadn't been that many years ago I could pick a full-size bench seat up with one arm and throw it up on my workbench. And now I can't do that anymore. Did the seats get heavier? No. I got lazy. And I've decided that I ain't going to cop out. I'm probably, if you go to like one of the coon shoot or even the York, I'm probably one of the older guys there. Me, Bill Wanning, we're in that 70 age group. And you can't quit. That's the bottom line. You can't quit. And this is a wonderful gun. It's an extremely good gun, really. Page Car built this gun. This gun's won the York. I've said that many times. This gun is an excellent gun. It's a 1.5 inch head rail barrel, 50 caliber. Big full stock gun. It's a heavy gun. Page even put a pewter nose on it. So it's a heavy gun. But you know what? That's what you really want in a chunk gun. You want a heavy gun. So I'm not going to wuss out on it. Well, I did wuss out, but I'm going to go back and rethink my position in life. And I've already got my old weights out. I put together one that's 35 pounds. And I go out 3 or 4 times a day in the shop. And I do 50 curls with it. And I'm already starting to see the difference. And that's the thing we have to do as we get older. You got a choice here. I'm not downgrading table shooting. I've done that in the past and got caught up on it. But what I'm telling you is, it doesn't have to be that way. When you get older, unless you got medical issues or some sort, if you'll do your part, keep your body in halfway decent tone, do a little barbell lifting or whatever you got. Put some sand in a bucket and just go out in the shop and lift it up and down. Do that kind of thing. Keep your arms and shoulders and back up to speed. And there's no reason you can't stay with a chunk gun, even a heavy chunk gun. Yeah, I've got the 20 pounder, and maybe when I'm 80 years old, I might go back to get it out. But for now, I'm going to stick with this gun. And it's a wonderful gun. I'm not giving up on it. What little shooting I've done this morning, I've already seen the difference in using the weights and stuff, so that's good. I started getting my bicycle out more and riding it to keep my heart and lungs in good order. The doctor says I'm in excellent condition for my age, but I don't think he understands chunk gun. So I'm going to have to do my part. So I guess that's the sermon for today. You keep your body in some decent condition. And if it gets to the place where you can't do it at all, then yeah, you can do table shooting or you can go to a lighter chunk gun. I get it. But yeah, heavy guns are better for chunk guns, so you might as well stick with it. Well, boys and girls, that's the show for today. I'm going to go home in this rain and clean this gun up. I appreciate you coming by. Thanks.